It is now 7 o'clock. I call to order our meeting for Monday, June 17th, 2024. For all those that are able to stand, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Ms. Hogan, roll call, please.
Here. Does that work? Here? No, it's not.
He's going to.
Okay. Here. Does that work?
Yeah, try now. You're here now.
Called out this evening.
Okay, so it sounds like we have a quorum with 4 here, and 2 are out, and 1 is vacant. Thank you. Next item is citizen.
Shall we make a motion? Okay.
Next item is citizen communications for not on the agenda. So I pulled the piece of paper here. John, come on up, sir.
Signed it.
Me too.
Absolutely. So you'll see them at Walmart. Location. So
I just thought maybe there was a straight or somebody didn't get it signed. So,
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
100%. Any questions or comments for John?
Yeah, thank you for doing that, John.
Yes.
I appreciate you taking care of that and getting those sent in. So, appreciate it.
I do too.
And you've got a sheet you said with you, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Next individual, Keith, come on up, sir.
Hi, good evening. Keith Belisle, Planners Days. I hope you had a good time at Planners Days. That's all I wanted to know. If you had a chance to go and enjoy it, I didn't see much. I was working the whole time. But it was a good time for me. I didn't hear any complaints. I didn't hear that we broke anything. So, and I saw lots of smiles, lots of happy people.
So I don't want to steal your thunder here. I
Sure.
have it in my mayor's notes for later, but I'm happy to talk about it here now. I just want to do a huge shout out to Keith, all the other of hundreds of volunteers that worked numerous hours for the last 365 days. They've already kicked off for the next 364 days for next year's Planters Days. I thought it was terrific. Along with shout out to you and your volunteers, I would like to give a shout out to the 35 plus employees for the city of Woodland who contributed, sprucing up the park, picking up the garbage over the weekend. Several of them worked. Crowd control by our police officers, the bark dust, the planting of the plants. I think it was a team event, but I just wanted to do a shout out to all of the volunteers and the employees of the city who really did make it a great. I participated all 4 days in a rain shine. I thought it was great. I found it interesting. Again, maybe I'm just a little naive. Seeing chairs at 8 a.m. when I showed up Saturday morning lining the parade route already, I thought I was at the Rose Festival parade.
I put mine on the night before.
So I thought that was kind of neat. Anyway, I'll let council or somebody else speak, but.
Yeah, and I would say the same thing. Thank you for doing all of that work.
My pleasure.
Those of us who worked in the booths and parade and whatever, we were tired, but not like you. So thank you.
I was happy and tired.
We were wet and happy and tired.
Can you bring back the wristbands for the carnival rides?
So that's something that the carnival has the say on, and whether they offer that or not.
Because their price, it's crazy.
Again, the wristband feature, whether they offer that or not, is part of their how they run their business, and I can't say you can't come and do it if you don't have wristbands.
Are they under contract to use that same?
The fire department is who you want to talk to about that. That's their fundraiser. That's under the umbrella of Planners Days, and we want to give everybody a good time, but there's some things that we just can't control.
So, Keith, again, let me help a little bit here, because I went to a couple of the Planners Day Committee meetings. Again, it takes a large group to get our village here of Woodland to have a 4-day, 5-day festival. Those individuals that work with the carnival do a great job. I asked about this and had conversation with them, thinking that maybe we could find a business that would sponsor, say, hey, let's have somebody give $5,000, $10,000 sponsorship and say, Joe Blow's Carnival here at Planners Days.
That's, I think, a good idea.
And so we tried to do that. And again, when you only have 2 or 3 different carnival outfits across the U.S. following COVID, it's very difficult for us to write the contract of what we want. It's more, hey, are we willing to play by their rules to get them to come here? Because there are large events that are happening that same weekend across the U.S., and for us to get somebody at all. So I know they've tried their best in doing that kind of a deal. And it's one of those things that's obviously a continual conversation for them, but it wasn't on deaf ears that they didn't try this year.
Yeah, if I have anything to do with it, I'd like to bring it back to you, but I don't know that I will have any power to make that happen. But otherwise, I want to hear your suggestions. I want your involvement. We need new people to train for our board member positions, because some of them are done. They're retiring. And we want to keep this going and make it better. It's gotten better since I've been involved, and we see lots of opportunities to improve and grow where we need to. So thank you.
No, thank you, Keith.
Sure.
Keith, I do want to say, me and my wife really appreciated the princesses' hours, too. Their personal histories and a little background. That was exceptionally rewarding for us to do. Those young ladies represent in part the future of this community.
Yeah,
and always in general, I think that's a great part of it.
Coronation's pretty close to my heart, too. I get broken up at it every time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, all right.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
A lot of hard work.
Thanks.
Next person is Donna.
Hello, yes, Donna Butler. And since the city of Woodland works with the county, hopefully, that's the idea, and is influenced by the policies of the county, I just want to make sure that everyone is aware that tomorrow night there will be a public county commissioner candidate forum. It's at 7 p.m. Tuesday, June 18th, at the Republican headquarters in Kelso. And there will be 6 of the candidates that will be there, and it's for District 1, Keenan Harvey, Mike Reuter, and Steve Rader, and District 2 are Hal Palmer, Raylene Aguirre, and Steve Farrell. So it might be interesting to see some of the choices that will be up, because that will have an effect on our city, or it could, yeah.
So a little bit of additional color on this topic here. 4 or 5 of those candidates were participants in the Planners Days parades. Mm-hmm. And the reason I throw out this is an important election for us in this city. If you remember, not to belabor issues prior, Cowlitz County Commission, part of their ARPA dollars, they gave us $2.6 million to work on Exit 21 solutions.
Right.
That kind of fell by the wayside. The I didn't get dotted, the T didn't get crossed last year, and we lost those dollars. Arn Mortensen, I worked with him, and he was able to restore and get us our $2.6 million this year. In February, he came to council, and we were able to restore those dollars. Again, we need to partner with our county commissioners. There's 3 county commissioners. Obviously, these are two of the seats here. So as a community, I urge each and every one of you to do your research, review the candidates, and vote accordingly to how you fit. I'm not here to endorse one person over the other, but I am here to encourage our citizens to get out and vote.
Okay, thank you.
No, thank you. Any questions or comments from council? Okay. Anyone else from the audience that would like to speak, or anyone online that would like to speak for items not on the agenda? Seeing none, we will move to agenda approval.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
I have a first and a second, Ms. Hogan.
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Frymark,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Moving into reports of standing committees. HR. Did HR meet?
We did not meet.
And something, it sounds like the oven buzzer is going off. Dinner is ready. Okay, so the next meeting will be on July 15th. So on HR piece, there is a contract in here. Revision, we will get to that on the agenda item piece on that. Finance.
Finance Committee met at 6:03 this evening. I reviewed major expenses and income. Looks pretty, one good thing I can say about it, one thing impresses me is that the numbers are fairly stable, and I like that in a city where you don't have big fluctuations from month to month, up or down, left or right. And so what really impresses me about it is I think it's being financed fairly well, and we've got good, steady, reliable numbers on it. So starting with expenditures, it's only 22% of budget year to date, which is especially good since we're 5 months into the year. Revenue, we've had some pretty good revenue from impact fees. We're already at 100% for fire and park impact fees, so that's a big, big plus. And our revenue in general is at 70% of budget 5 months through the year. Investments are at $13.1 million so far through this year. And sales tax. Sales tax for the month of May is up. Year to date, it's running around 8% above the last year or two. Projected to be on or above the budget set for the entire year, so that's really good news. I will tell you one thing, though, that the top 20 businesses in the town support about 75% of that total income, just in general. And the meeting closed at 6:25. Very good meeting in general.
So one thing I would throw out there, attached to the meeting minutes, or to this meeting, and also will be part of the meeting, are the financial statements that I throw together. I take the financials, I put them into a little bit easier reading chart. High level point that I would throw out for our community is month of May, we're about $100,000 favorable to budget. If you think about it, that's close to 10% of our spend. We were favorable. The Civic Center, we can all talk about that. I will be happy to talk about that all day long. We've spent about almost $500,000 on that item there, and we still are coming out $100,000 favorable this month. Year to date, we're almost $200,000, or year to date, we're almost $200,000 favorable on our expenses. Our city and our employees have done a great job living within their means and realizing and putting a step forward and saying, hey, listen, this is for our community and this is what we need to do. So again, these individuals that are sitting over there and the other 30 plus that aren't here, I truly appreciate all their hard work and dedication that's being done. So, with that, any questions from anyone online or in the group here that has comments or questions about finances? Because again, it is all of our money and our job to be stewards of our funds. With that, reports of advisory committees. Carrie, for Chamber of Commerce.
Are we not doing reports of city council?
My bad, I had, whoop. Dang, you're good on that. I was making sure everyone was awake. Reports of city council first. Sorry, Carrie.
Sure. Right.
My bad.
Yeah, I have to say that I missed the long meeting that you guys had last time. I was in Montana. I managed to also miss the 10th annual Alder Creek Rodeo, not 10th, 113th annual Alder Creek Rodeo and Pioneer Picnic. That's a part of my childhood, always associated with Flag Day and Father's Day. But I did make the Planners Day celebration. I got to walk with the Walk for Life group in that parade and get soaking wet, and got to work in the Rotary booth with Carol and others for selling hamburgers, and they were good hamburgers. So we had a lot of fun, had a lot of it was a great event, like Keith reported earlier, so pretty exciting time. Also, because I missed last meeting, I didn't get a chance to thank Chief Kelly, who's not here, and Mayor Deinert for their participation in the national effort that was called the Washing. And we had a small part here in Woodland, but in that small part we had 10 churches involved from the area and 5 local communities involved. So it was significant, and I appreciate the participation and support. So
Absolutely.
that's my report.
I apologize again for jumping out of order here.
I also went to the children's parade and went to a lot of the different things, and worked quite a bit at the Rotary booth that we had selling hamburgers. A lot of fun, very exhausting, and I'm glad it is done for 1 year. So, but it was fun. So,
I am going to put a little plug out here when you talk about the children's parade and the pet parade. I see roughly 40 people here in the audience, and I know people are online and different. Thursday afternoon is the kickoff really to Planners Days. There is a pet parade and there is a children's parade. Those children go out there and they ride their Power Wheels, they ride their bikes. Carol's 35 grandkids and great grandkids were out there in full force. I tell you what, there's nothing more heartwarming than sitting on our main street and watching the future of Woodland run up and down that street, kicking off Planners Day, thinking this is the best thing since sliced bread. Seriously, I mean,
Right.
I've got a granddaughter that's won. We did the pet parade. You know, we won't say who won, but I tell you what, people, there's an opportunity there to go watch the children in the future of Woodland. So,
thank you.
And a great amount of chalk on the sidewalk.
yep,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I like to say the people I've talked to all had positive comments on it. Not a single negative comment. You know, that has got to be an attaboy. Congratulations, Keith, and to your entire team and everybody that worked there.
Well, it was my 48th year going, and we did Bingo Friday and parade, and it was a lot of fun. We look forward to it every year, and the frog jumping contest too. It was fun.
You know, when you talk about 48 years, another plug, Woodland's Strongest. Again, more activities are being added every year. You know, some people were able to go to bingo. Some people were able to go over to Woodland's Strongest there on Park Street. I tell you what, more and more is happening in this community there. So, great point,
We
Gabe.
were there too. That was a good one also.
100%.
I'll talk about the chamber. Our membership still grows. It's growing steadily. We have 4 new members. Happy to have McPhee's Butcher Block join the chamber, Molly Thai Cafe, Taylor Transport. You see the Taylor trucking trucks go around. They just joined. and Pacific Trim joined. Planters Days, we have a handful that I will be welcoming next meeting. I'll tell you about them. But we also had a little bit of a challenge at one of our meetings where I gave a little presentation about what it means to be a Gold Star member of the Chamber. And one of our members said, I'll be a Gold Star member if someone else does. Well, three people that day upgraded to Gold Star membership, which is just a really great way. I know other people in this room are Gold Star members. Yes.
So I'm going to throw a challenge out there. Anyone can be a Gold Star member.
Yeah.
You can be it as an individual. You can be it as a family, a husband and wife, pair of partners, anybody.
Yeah.
I'll just come out. I'm a Gold Star member.
Yes, thank you.
I joined here in January, February, and I would recommend and challenge people,
Yeah.
you know, if it's within your budget, within your means,
Yeah.
do it. It is a way to participate and be in our community
Right.
and to support the growth and
Yeah.
our businesses.
So Gold Star membership is an additional $125 a year for the whole year. But with that, your name in our membership directory and online is, you know, full color. It's larger. It's on a special page. We have what we call Gold Star Member of the Week. We draw at our weekly meetings, and whoever's drawn for the week gets advertised pretty heavily on my Facebook page, on all my publicity that I put out to our members in the community. It's also, one of our members is the co-owner of Linkit Media, and they have those screens in lobbies around the area. I think there's 10 to 12 in Clark and Cowlitz County, and they've partnered with us so that my graphics go on those screens, and they go all day long for the whole week. And so
and you don't have to be on those glossy pages. You don't have to, again, I mean,
Yeah.
this wasn't about that for me. It's me giving back to our community. And
Yeah.
so
Thank you. So
I just want that to be clear. You can,
yeah, so we have 19 Gold Star members now, so it's fun to see that part of our membership grow. We had a beer garden at Planners Day. This was the first time the Chambers hosted that. I think it's the third year it's been a part of Planners Day. And that was an extremely successful fundraiser. It was fun. I think if the attendees had as much fun as the volunteers, then it was a success, because we just had fun. We had Antidote Tap House as our vendor. We had several volunteers, and then we had Claire Brandy Lynn's trio. It's called MVB. They sang for a while, and then Claire Beck sang live music for a while. It was just really fun. So I appreciate all the sponsors and volunteers and everyone who attended that. That was a great event. And I'm a broken record, but I do like to talk about our golf tournament. It's coming up. It's going to be here before we know it, August 20th. We are registering teams and sponsors. So if you want your business name out there on a sign, or you know, on a tee or on a golf cart, it's just a great way to support the chamber. So let me know, call me. And we have some exciting meetings. Last week we had a special guest speak at our chamber meeting, which are Tuesdays at noon at the Oak Tree. Last week was a local artist and now author. Her name's Debbie Neely. She might be known for the wooden sign that's carved that I think is now placed behind the Civic Center. She carved that years and years ago. She didn't paint it, but she carved it. And now she's known for her art called woodcutting. And she just published her first book called Words and Wood. And she writes haikus, and then she has her art. And it was just a really inspiring and nice story. And she brought all her art, and it was just a really nice thing. So that was kind of cool to see a local artist and author present to us. Tomorrow, Steve Rader is our speaker, not necessarily as a commission for his campaign, but he is got a nonprofit organization called Rader Leadership and Outdoor Ventures, where he supports youth. And so we're going to hear about all about that. He's very passionate about that. And then next week, Matt Seamers, he's the president of Lower Columbia College. He'll be speaking to us next week. So everyone is welcome to attend these meetings. They're fun, and they're every week. So
great way to meet people in the community.
Yep. Visitor Center is getting exciting. This is a fun time of year. It's starting to get busy. We had almost 229 visitors since the last time I was here. We are still closed on Tuesdays because it's a chamber day, but it's picking up. Visitors are coming in, so we were closed on Saturday. We figured Planners Days was, you can get your information from the locals that day. But anyway, is there any questions you have for me? No?
I
Anyway,
appreciate
job.
partnering with you.
we appreciate you. Thank you. Have a good night.
Any questions from the audience or anyone online for Carrie? Again, visitor center, you can find her at Chamber on Tuesday.
And I do send out weekly updates on events coming up. If you want to be on that list and you're not, just let me know. I'm happy to put you on that list. It's useful information. So
Perfect.
thank you.
No, thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is reports of city officers. So I typically have the mayors in there. I will have the mayors continually, but we have some great individuals that sit over here, and I'm going to each council meeting say, is there anybody over there that would like to speak, have anything to say, give them their opportunity? They're all looking at me like, you're an idiot, Deinhardt. No. Travis, fire away.
So there's a handout on the back table out front with a series of upcoming public open houses and meetings where we will be talking about the progress that's been made on the comprehensive plan update. So the Planning Commission is this Thursday, and I'll do a presentation then, and that kind of kicks off the next 6 to 8 weeks of open houses and conversations.
Okay. Anything else? All right, let me jump into the mayor's message really quickly, just because there's a little bit of traffic going online here where people are having to be admitted onto our Zoom meeting. I want to explain something. So here a month and a half ago, we had somebody that jumped in here. There was foul language. I take 100% ownership. I should have been quicker. So what we've done is we've set it up now where you have to be admitted. You just can't jump in and boom, as they go through here, I admit. So there are a few people, as I'm trying to pay attention here, who have had to wait a minute or two to get submitted and admitted into our Zoom meeting. It's not that we don't want people online. We 100% want people online, but at the same time, we need to make sure that we have controls in place where we don't have a cyber attack and people that are just filtering our system. That individual, we don't know who it was, but they also did the same thing in Longview. We were a Monday night there. It was a Thursday night meeting up there. So I just wanted people to understand that. And for the people online, I appreciate your patience. So a couple things with the mayor's message this week. Woodland RV Park, so there is the Woodland Shores and then there's Belmont Loop. So the attorneys that are starting this week, Travis has that on his agenda to work through. We heard council loud and clear, I did, and that was at Woodland RV Shores, Woodland Shores, which is over here by exit 21. Is the intent is to keep them long-term, those individuals, and then we have Belmont Loop to keep them short-term. In the meantime, I've heard from several residents, emails, they go through the public records request mechanism as a way to communicate, who have also said they want to make sure Belmont Loop there is short-term, and several of the businesses continue to reach out. So I don't want people to think that we've forgotten about that item. We are working on that item. Travis owns that and is continuing on, and we will have something to come back to council on. Next item here, and everyone, don't get excited and think that Todd has gone off the rails here for a second. So retail marijuana within the city of Woodland. I've talked to a few of you here, not had a chance to talk to everyone. So it's my job as mayor to make sure that we're stewards of our finances, of our city resources, of our outflows and inflows here. I'm not here to say whether or not we should do retail marijuana in Woodland or whether we shouldn't do retail marijuana. My job here is to do what our city wants, but also what our city council drives and decides. We have 7 members here. It is their job to create ordinance, resolution, and to make those rules, and it's my job to make sure that city employees, that we as a governing body follow those rules. That being said, Mr. Houston came back here about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and wrote me an email and said, Mayor, I would like to have a vote on whether or not we can put retail marijuana sales on the ballot for our citizens to vote. There's been a lot of conversation with this. That is one thing where I will tell people is I do think it's a citizen vote, but again, it's not my decision on what we do or don't do. So with that, anytime city council member comes to me and says, this is what we should do, I would like to do, it's my job to say, okay, let's put it before the council. If they want to, yay. If they don't want to, yay. It's up to them. However, it's my job to do things with our dollars frugally and appropriately. That being said, there is a general election in November, where with the general election for president, we also will have on that general election, there will be a election for our city council seat that is open. And so the election costs, when you divide those election costs by all the cities in Cowlitz County and break it down, it breaks that cost to Woodland a lot lower than if we were to put something on a ballot by ourselves. I've gone through this previously. If we were to go put something on the ballot where we're the only city there, it's about $70,000. But then if there's a general election and other items on there, typically we can get it down to less than $20,000. That being said, you have to get something on the November ballot, you have to have something to the Cowlitz County Election Office by August 3rd. Knowing that Gabe has come to me, I have said, okay, if it's going to happen, then we need to make sure and put it on there in November when it's only $20,000, not later on when it's $70,000. Again, so I'm telling the community, informing people here, we will have a workshop on our next city council meeting, which will be July 1st, where we will have this conversation and council can decide what to do and not want to do. But at least as mayor, it's my job to say, hey, if we're going to do it and you want to do it, here's where it can be $20,000 instead of $70,000. So I just want to give people a forewarning of 2 weeks. That conversation will be had there. Okay? Last thing I will say on that, again, I'm not telling anyone here which way to go. All I'm saying is we'll have a conversation. Okay? So hopefully people will be here July 1st. The next thing I want to touch on really fast is the Lewis River Road apartments, housing development, whatever you want to call that, out here at the intersection of Inzel and Gun Club in between there. There was a newspaper article in the Columbian this last week. Malene, who works for Travis, I thought she did a great job. Interviewed there, away we went. My view is let's have individuals. They don't need to always talk to the mayor. People should be able to walk into City Hall and things like that. So I thought she did a great job on the article. I just want people to understand how we've gotten to where we are and to remind people chronologically where we're at and what's gone on. So back in April 2022, they did a pre-app application was submitted. This was for 252 apartments. We had a meeting in May of 2022, and then in January of 2023, they submitted their full-on application for apartments. Okay? So a year and 4 months ago, 5 months ago, they submitted for those 252 apartments. In March of 2023, ecology comments were received. In April of 2023, there was a staff report and supplemental staff report was issued, and then there was a hearing that was held with the hearings board. Then in June of 2023, the hearing examiner decision was issued, ecology permit issued with comment period and things like that. In August of 2023, there was a zoning amendment requested. So this is where it gets a little. In August of 2023, they came to council seeking modified setbacks. They wanted to go from a 1,900 square foot lot to a 1,600 square foot lot. Okay? And with that, they wanted to clarify what does it mean to be a lot versus a site for single family units. And at the same time, city staff included the language to put 20-foot width instead of a 24 width. Okay, City Council rejected the 24-foot, the modification from 24 foot to 20 foot. However, and push it up. So there they were moving those dirt piles around from one area to another. That was issued in November 2023. Okay, now let's move to 2024 here of May. They've submitted an application on the 3rd looking to build 85 homes in there. They want to divide the property. You have Williams Pipeline that goes through there. You have the west side. You have the east side. Williams Pipeline has been very clear with them. You will not build any permanent structures on their pipeline and on their right-of-way. Okay? Permanent structure means asphalt. So that's why you see all the dirt on the west side. On the left side, not much is happening. They've submitted their full application on May 20th to put 85 homes. No permits have been issued. Nothing has been approved with that there. June, meaning tomorrow, Wednesday, there will be a notice in the Reflector, and also the following week that, hey, there will be a public hearing for that home and that subdivision on August 2nd of 2024. So as of today, right now, they don't have authorization to do those 85 homes, but that is the direction where they're seeking to go. The apartment complex piece, you can't put apartments on top of the pipeline. That piece to the east would be kind of jiggy. They wouldn't be able to put asphalt through there. So it's a little bit tricky there. Now they're back with 85 homes. I just want the community and everyone to be aware where we're at on that subdivision and why we are having a hearing on the 2nd. Because again, they need to get permits and all of that to approve an 85 home subdivision. Okay, any questions from the community, from City Council on where we're at with that subdivision? Because again, it's one of those things that I think is important for everyone to understand.
Yeah, go ahead, Carol.
Come on up, Donna. Donna, I need you to use the mic. Come on.
I just wanted to know where that hearing will be. Will it be with the Planning Commission? Will it be with the hearing examiner, Joe Turner, or will it be with council?
It will be with Joe Turner, our hearing examiner, and it will be here in council chambers on the 2nd of August. Thank you for clarifying that.
Mr. Mayor, you say that the council in December approved square footage from 19 down to 1,600?
Correct. The lot size is correct. That was part of ordinance 1547.
Was there a width and length minimum on that? Or just square footage?
Nope. Square footage, 1,600 square feet.
Any way they want to set it up?
40 by 40, 20 by 80. Yep.
Were there any other limits, border distance from a property boundary or anything else like that?
Those boundaries are still part of the city ordinance, city code. Nothing changed on that. The setbacks, all of that remains exactly the same. We didn't change any of our code. We didn't change any of our ordinances there. All we did is are allowing them to have smaller lot sizes. Instead of a 1,900 square foot lot, they can have a 1,600 square foot lot.
That was their only request, 19 down to 16.
At that time, correct.
They hadn't previously wanted to reduce it down before then?
What was it, 24? Down to 20.
Oh, so Travis, you want to jump in? The question now is the 24 feet that is in our code where city staff was proposing to allow to go down to 20 feet. Do you want to touch on that?
One of the things that was brought up, and that is in a lot of the neighboring communities, there are townhomes that are being designed at 20-foot width, and there are a lot of jurisdictions that have that. And the comment that they brought up, and that is, if we had a similar code to what our neighbors have, then we might get developers who are interested in developing here because they don't have to redesign their whole project just to do one project in Woodland. So it was creating a standard where they could do similar projects in neighboring jurisdictions, and it would be more efficient and provide cheaper housing.
So let me clarify. It was creating a standard in Woodland that was consistent with other cities to be more user-friendly to the developer.
Yes.
I want to be clear.
And can I also point out that their current proposal, I believe their minimum lot size is around 2,900. So they could go a lot smaller, but that wasn't the intention of them asking for the zone change.
What are the current setbacks? Side setbacks, 5 foot, 10 foot?
It depends. And that's another example of if you were doing townhomes, you wouldn't be able to have side yard setbacks anyways.
Okay.
And then the other thing they pointed out, and that is if you build a townhome with no side setbacks, you get more than 50% lot coverage, so you'd get really, really tiny townhomes.
Yeah.
And so they wanted to correct that at the same time.
So, okay, more
Thank
to
you,
come on
Director.
that. I just wanted to make sure everyone knew what the deal was on that. Any other questions, comments? Last thing I would throw out, July 12th, Hot Summer Nights and Movies in the Park starts. That's a partnership with the City of Woodland and Downtown Woodland Revitalization. DWR has done a great job getting all that lined up, and the first one is July 12th. Any questions or comments for me before we move to our next item? Consent items. Clerk-Treasurer Approve the minutes is our next item.
Make a motion to approve the consent items.
Second.
Any comments, questions there? Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Frymark,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Moving into the action items. Action item B, Clerk-Treasurer Approve the vouchers.
Make a motion to approve action item B.
I'll second.
Any comments, questions from the audience or city council regarding any of our vouchers that are out there and invoices?
I looked through them. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. They look good to me.
Same here.
Okay. I see no one in the audience or online or comments from here. Amanda?
Councilmember Houston,
Aye.
Councilmember Frymark,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Moving into action item C, resolution number 786, adoption of the public participation plan approved on February 20th, 2024. Any comments from the audience or anyone online regarding this action item? This is doing cleanup work. We should have had the resolution as part of the council meeting when we approved this back in February.
Make a motion to approve action item C.
I'll second.
With no further comment, Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston,
Aye.
Councilmember Frymark,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Moving into action item D, resolution number 787, update the associate planner salary step plan. Any comments or questions from people online or in the audience? Let me jump in here and make sure that we all understand what is happening here. So each budget year, so coming up when we start working on the budget, September, October timeframe, we will do a step plan. And that step plan is for our non-represented employees, these individuals sitting here, the associate planner. And those step from 1 all the way to 9, each individual based on years of service, experience, or somewhere in that step plan. And then there's a COLA that is associated each year to those cost of living allowance. Sorry, didn't mean to just say COLA. With that, so our associate planner, and we will get into the contract for Malene, she's been with us for almost 9 months. She is a salaried position. She does not receive overtime, and she is in that STEP program. Washington Labor and Industries has a law that says if you are a salaried position and exempt from overtime, there is a minimum threshold you should make. When she was hired on, that position as a step 1 was over that threshold. At January 1st of this year, that threshold moved to $67,000, and she's below that threshold. Our payroll clerk and things, we didn't notice that. She came to us and said something. So full disclosure and accountability, shame on Todd Deinhardt. I should have known that. We should not have been doing that to one of our employees. She said something to us. I took the action and did remediation immediately. We, in the last payroll run, we gave her back pay from January through May 31st as if she was making that state minimum of $67,000. Because again, if Labor and Industries is that way, I want to make sure that she is getting paid that. So we cut her a check for an extra $2,000 because it's the right thing to do and to make sure that we're compliant. Now we need to move forward and say, hey, listen, we need to make sure that her salary is compliant with labor and industries, or we can make her an hourly and those things and put her in the union, and we can go through that. She does, works with the planning commission, she works overtime, does things, meets with the community. It just makes sense to the city for her not to be a represented employee and to continue with that. So doing that, I did a salary assessment, I looked at the other communities around, I looked at what labor and industries was, and I looked at communities up and down the I-5 corridor. And so I came up with a step program here that puts her in line with the other communities, but also makes us compliant. So you can see it's about a 12% increase. So instead of going at 61,000 step one, which she's at, it would be moving to 69,600. It's about $1,500 over the minimum of the state L&I, keeps us compliant, but it also keeps her in line with other communities. La Center pays 69,000, Ridgefield pays 74. I mean, again, Ridgefield's a little bit bigger, a little bit more complex and things like that. So this is why we're updating the step plan for only the associate planner position, not all of our other positions, because we are already compliant. With that, is there any questions or comments from the community or city council before I ask for an action to be taken?
I just want to say I think you're doing a good job as far as saving the city money and doing the right thing for our employees. So,
Thank you, Carol. I appreciate that. Okay.
Is there any reason we couldn't take both items, D and E, together? I mean, do we?
So we certainly could, but for being transparent and saying, hey, listen, you know what I mean? I didn't want people to say, okay, we're all of a sudden just changing her contract.
Oh.
I want people to understand, why are we changing her contract? And then I also want this STEP program to be part of the other STEP program so people can see. So it takes a little bit more work for staff and myself to get this ready for council and for you to approve, but I think it's just one of those things that makes it a little more visible for our community. Okay.
all right, I make a motion to approve action item D.
Second.
With that, any questions or comments? Amanda?
Councilmember Freimark,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Moving into action item E, authorize the mayor to sign a revised employment agreement for the associate planner, Malene Garcia-DeBoard. And so again, nothing changes in her contract. All it does is change her salary, and it will be retro back to to June 1st. So on her paycheck on June 10th, she was corrected from January 1 all the way to May 31st. Her paycheck on the 25th, which will be for the first month. So we will be compliant and away we go. So that is where I'm asking her contract to be amended for salary only. No other changes.
Move to approve
Second.
item E.
Any comments or questions? With that, Amanda?
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Freimark.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Now moving into city council position number 7, interviews. So item F, interview packet. So want to be clear, there's a few things here. We had 7 candidates that applied. One individual emailed me tonight with school and things, has decided that it's in best interest for him to focus on his school and things. So I commend that individual to looking at priorities and saying, hey, this is more where I need to align. So again, I appreciate that. So we have 6 individuals that will be interviewed. I have their names in the cup. I will draw their name. We will go in order there. The other, as one person is being interviewed, the other 5 will step outside so as not to hear the questions. Again, we will ask the exact same questions of every candidate. This position will be sworn in next council meeting on July 1st so that they can have their family members here, and then they can also participate in the city council meeting for one thing. And then, the second thing is this position will go towards the next general election. So meaning we will have a city council position on the ballot in November. And I would hope that the person who is selected tonight puts their name in, because that means that city council is making the right decision. And again, Todd Deinhardt does not have a vote in this. I get to participate, but these 4 individuals here, city council members, will make the selection and do what they think is best for our city here. With that, is there the audience, I ask, please stick around, listen in. This is, our community, be a participant here. Any questions from my city council members on what we will be doing for the next hour or so? After we interview all 6 candidates, we will go into executive session. Frank, as our attorney, will go with us. We will have a decision. And since there is 4 people there, we will need to have a 3-1 quorum. Because again, the mayor does not make a decision and does not vote on this. Okay? We will come out after we have an agreement on that 3-1 and announce who is going to be our next city council member. With that, questions, comments? Let's jump right into it here. First name that I pull out, Matt Sixkiller. Is Matt Sixkiller here? Matt Sixkiller, are you online? Does anyone know who Matt Sixkiller is?
Yeah, he's not, I know who he is, but
Okay.
I don't see him here.
Okay, and as part of our process is we require them to answer the interview question, and being that he is not here, that does make it, we withdraw his application and makes him not eligible for this appointment. Okay? So with that, Max Sixkiller. David McCauley. All right, so if I could have the other individuals please head outside. We will shut that door there. The audience members, you stick around if you want to stick around the whole time, want to leave, you're more than welcome. You can get up and leave. Again, don't feel like you have to stay in your seat the whole entire time. Chief, and Chief is going to shut the door. Thank you, sir. So my council members here, you should have a application from Mr. McCauley. And you should all have the questions here. The 4 of you will just go in order of those questions. I won't be asking questions, but I'll be taking notes. And I go for you, Mr. Hall.
All right.
Does he get a few minutes to tell about it?
Oh, my bad. This is why I got my friend Carol's here. 2 minutes to tell us anything and everything you would like about yourself that we may not cover on the application and things.
Oh, my name's David McCauley. I've been a resident 27 years here, over half my life, and I just want to try to join the council because I'm kind of how the city has changed over the last 27 years. It used to be a small community. When we moved here, stuff has changed a lot, and so I just want to maybe be part of the process we still need to grow, but still be a small community. And that's what we love about, my whole family loves about living here. So I just want to put that out there.
Anything else? With that, I'm going to begin the questions, and
Yes, sir.
we'll just go right down the line.
Yes, sir.
So, tell us about your previous public service to Woodland, and how often do you attend Woodland Council meetings?
So this is my first meeting. I've had a lot of talks with my family. I've had family members pass on the city council, planning commission. My mother-in-law was on school board for years. And I just had a talk with my family, and I want to be part of this community. I want to have a say in the community. And so I haven't been to any meetings before, but that's going to change after this. Even if I don't get picked, I'm still going to be in the meetings. I want to be part of it and voice my words. So, yeah, that's it.
Okay, Dave, how have you helped contribute to making Woodland a better community?
Well, we have a small business in the community, 16 years. So my wife and I do mobile dog grooming. We try to keep costs down for the city. For the residents, we try to take care of our clients. I just really want, sorry. It's just I haven't had a lot of community work, so this is a little different for me, I know. So that's it.
Okay, thank you.
David, relax.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the role of the Woodland City Council? What is the role of the mayor in particular? And what's the role of the city council members specifically?
I see the role of the city council is to make legislative decisions on how the city's going to run. The mayor, his job is to look over and watch over the employees of the city and make sure things are going in line with what he's supposed to do. So, yeah, and then for the city council member, I just think that their job is to listen to the people that could possibly, obviously, vote them in and take their consideration, bring it to the council, and then see how they want to go forth. So.
Are you willing to fully participate and commit to requirements of a city council member? This includes attending 2 city council meetings a month, in addition to committee meetings, reading 100+ agenda pages prior to each meeting, and coming prepared to discuss the materials. How will you handle these demands?
Yeah, I've fully committed to every meeting. We live in town here, so that's not a problem. I have a full-time job in Portland, but very flexible if stuff comes up. I have our own business, our personal business that we do, and I could switch stuff around on that. So yes, I have plenty of time to read all the information that you guys hand to me, and it won't be a problem. I have a family, and we stick around town a lot, so that will not be a problem.
Thank you.
And David, do you attest to meeting all the requirements of a city council member, which are, I'll just go through these.
Yes, sir.
18 years of age, registered voter in the city resident for at least 12 months, and live inside the city during the term.
Absolutely, on all 4 of those, I meet all the requirements.
What are the specific issues of Woodland that are of particular interest to you? For each of these items, what are your ideas for resolving them during your appointment as council member?
Yeah, absolutely. There's 3 main ones. You guys have kind of touched on several of them with the traffic in town, with whether we're going to do roundabouts in town, and that it's a little tougher to get through town, as you all know. Crime. 3 years ago, we had somebody steal our work vehicle from in front of our house. We would have never thought of that 25 years ago. To lock our doors, we never thought about that, not in Woodland. And, the police do great. I've only seen them patrol. And so I'm hoping the crime will continue to go down. Another one is the housing. You guys touched on the possible 85 units going out there. And I understand, we need to have people move into the city, but I would like to have it so people are going to purchase houses in the city, not maybe like apartments, putting a bunch of apartments around. And if people buy something in the city, they're going to want to stay here and they want to be part of the community. So that's what I'd like to see.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How will you handle city complaints? and the negativity in general towards you personally and or the council as a group?
Yeah, I'm a very good listener. I'd like to get all the facts, see why they're either upset with me or another member, and just talk to them, and just try to air things out. And a lot of stuff can, just talking face to face with somebody will definitely, probably help instead of like emailing somebody. So I'd like to talk face to face with people and then bring it to the council's attention, if something did come up.
How will you handle citizen complaints regarding city employees, rude or rude city employees?
Yeah, it's kind of on the same basis. Just find out what their issue is, why they are upset, why they are rude, and sit down with them. I deal with coworkers at my full-time job, and it's no different at those jobs. That we just sit down and find out why they're upset, and we just have a conversation and try to get through it.
There are situations where council members disagree with each other on issues, or you may disagree with citizen comments. How do you handle disagreements and bring them to closure?
Yeah, it all kind of works. It all kind of works together. I can tell just by how you guys conduct yourself up here. I can see it being a very positive experience and being able to talk with you guys. It sounds like you guys are really good listeners, and I really think that you guys can definitely take care of something if something did come up. I don't see a problem with that. So.
Okay, David. What experience do you have with public finance, public works, code enforcement, permitting, economic development, or civil service?
So I don't have any particular, not been like finance. What I can say about like code enforcement, we've been very particular. We've done like work around our house, and the codes in the city with the building fences and getting a deck built on our house, and so we've kind of dealt with that. We've had questions on what the ordinance are, and we've talked it over with the city, and come to conclusion that they let us do certain stuff that fits in the guidelines. But I've never really been on like any committees that have dealt with that. But I'm trying to branch out a little. Okay. I'm 49 years old, so I'm trying to branch out and just be part of that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, David, do you intend to file for the council position that you're applying for right now come November election?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's I've had a long talk with my family, and that would be a definite yes if I don't get chosen tonight. But I just want to put it out there that I'm very committed to this. I enjoy the whole procedure, and plus what I've seen tonight, it's been a joy. So yes, I will be on the ballot.
What is your experience of level of understanding with the Robert's Rules of Order?
Yeah, so I've been on, I guess I've been on like a 4-H committee up in Longview. We've had a Cowlitz County 4-H group and I didn't really know what that Robert's Rule was. And I looked it up. I'm like, we've done that in our committee. From keeping the decorum of how the council is run and letting people speak like they're supposed to. And I never really realized it. And then I read up on it, and we've done it before. And And so, yeah, I read quite a bit of it lately, and yeah, so I completely understand the Robert's rules.
Final question.
Yes, sir.
This final question. Is there any additional information that we should know that will assist with our decision to appoint you as council member?
No, I just like to let you know I'm a longtime resident, and I want things to go in a good way for this community, and you know, we're gonna be here for the rest of our lives, my wife and I, and you know, we want things to continue. We have the new mayor. He seems to want to listen to people. You guys want to listen to people, it seems like, and I'd like to be part of that. And you guys are very transparent. I've never been to a meeting, and it's really refreshing to see that, you know, how transparent you guys really are. And I really enjoy being here.
With that, any other questions for? No questions.
We're
for-
good, I think.
Hey, I appreciate it.
Okay.
I am going to ask.
So each candidate gets 2 minutes of a closing statement as well.
Oh, you get 2-minute closing statement on top of that last question. I kind of put the question in there. But
Oh.
I think I've already, you know, reiterated, you know, I've been a longtime resident, you know, and 27 years, 16 years small business, and no other small businesses in the community, and yeah, I just want to kind of let everybody know what my intentions are, and we love Woodland, and I want to be part of that in a bigger sense of the word. So I really appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to me.
excellent. I just say for me personally, thank you for applying. Again, I think our community needs people to step up and say, hey, get in there. It might not be the most comfortable thing.
Exactly.
I don't know about all of you.
I haven't done an
certainly-
interview in 14 years, so, you know, so.
2 years ago, I would have never thought I'd be sitting up here. I'm like,
Exactly.
oh,
No,
heavens.
I completely understand.
I did it twice. It's very nerve-wracking, so I know feel you.
I appreciate you guys.
And this is how new and immature I am with this whole process.
Yep.
So now, does Dave get to stay in the room, or do we ask him to leave the room?
He has to.
You guys will leave.
Yeah, she already told me I had to leave, so.
Go. Hey, thank you, sir. The next one is Scott. So, Scott Brendan, can you ask
Send, yeah.
Scott to come in? Good evening, sir.
Good evening. My name's Scott Brendan, and I wanted to thank the council for your consideration for the open position. I appreciate the opportunity. I moved here with my wife Dana in 2020. We bought our forever house and moved up here from Beaverton. We really do enjoy the Woodland city and the Woodland community, and we'd like to continue to see it continue to thrive. One of the motivations for me being here is there something that I can do to help that? I don't have any direct governmental experience, noted that on my application, but I do have what I consider to be a lot of applicable life skills. I was a software engineer for Intel for 31 years. I went there straight out of college at one of the lowest positions. I retired out of Intel as a senior principal engineer, one of the technical leaders in the corporation. Being an engineer, you're a professional problem solver. So problem solving is problem definition, solution brainstorming, solution creation, implementation, measurement, go around the circle again. Another big thing at Intel was building consensus, because nothing ever got implemented at Intel without consensus. So you always had technical communities, technical committees, technical stakeholders that you had to get buy-in for anything to go. I was also people manager at Intel for 18 years. starting off as a first-line manager and finishing as a director of engineering. So besides the people skills associated with that came the organizational skills as well. How do you build an organization? How do you create a mission? How do you measure how you're doing to your mission? How do you measure organizational health? Those are some of the skills that I think would be directly applicable to a job like yours. Short story to end with, I was talking with a friend of mine and got into some complaints about something, and he told me, you've really got no room to complain unless you're part of the solution. And then he told me about his time on his own city council. This is my opportunity to be part of the solution. Thank you again for the consideration.
So, full transparency here. Scott lives 2 doors down from me. I want people to be aware. I don't want anyone to be like, oh, you know, later on. I've never been to a party. Scott's never been to my house. I've never been to his house. But again, Scott lives 2 doors down from me.
My cat's visited
His cat comes to my house. So I just want people to, you know.
Up or downriver?
You know, he's downriver from me, sorry. So, anyway, so with that.
Okay, and we're we're going to ask questions, each of us in order. So I'm going first. Tell us about your previous public service to Woodland community, and how often do you attend Woodland Council meetings?
So I have no previous public service to Woodland community. My contribution to Woodland community right now is trying to be a good citizen myself and make sure that, you know, I take great care of everything that I'm responsible for, and, you know, just be a good neighbor and a good partner in the community. We have attended some of the city council meetings remotely, watching them and things like that. It's been recent that I've started attending in person, making sure I know the agenda that's coming up, making sure that I've read the documents that are coming in, so that I have some of the background associated with it. There's still some things that are missing occasionally as far as background associated with it. I know there's some conversations that are going on between you and some of the other stakeholders. The material doesn't always make it online, so that you can get a full information about what you're saying aye to sometimes. But I figure if I was on that side of it, I would have that information. Did I answer your question? I know
Yes.
I rambled there a bit.
Yeah, no, good. Thank you.
Okay, Scott, how have you helped contribute to making Woodland a better community?
There again, that was me being a good citizen, right? I bought a property here, doing my best to keep up the property, be a good neighbor. I have family that lives in Woodland. I have a sister that lives here with her family. I have a niece that lives here. We have in-laws that live in Ridgefield, so we have roots in the area. And this is my foray into taking a deeper step into contributing to the community.
Thank you.
Scott, what is the role of the Woodland City Council? What is the role of the mayor in particular, and what are the roles of the city council members in particular, in your judgment?
Okay, so the city council approval of contracts, money spending, creation of new ordinances, approval of the ordinances. You're also members on the various committees. I don't know if you're advisory members or voting members on the particular committees, but there's several of you assigned to all of the major committees associated with it as well. The mayor is more like the chief executive. He's in charge of the budget, the personnel, and how the city runs and how the city spends its money.
Are you willing to fully participate and commit to the requirements of a city council member? This includes attending 2 city council meetings a month, in addition to committee meetings, reading 100+ agenda pages prior to each meeting, and coming prepared to discuss the materials. How will you handle these demands?
So I retired in August of last year. I have the time and the inclination to do it now. As far as ramping on the material, reading the material, understanding the material, finding people to ask the right questions, all of that stuff, that was day-to-day occurrence in my working life. So I don't see any problems in transferring that into a council life.
Thank you.
Do you attest to meeting all of the requirements of a city council member, which are these: 18 years of age, registered voter in the city, City of Woodland resident for at least 12 months prior to this, and live inside the City of Woodland during the term
Yes.
that you would serve?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Scott, what are the specific issues of Woodland that are of particular interest to you? For each of these items, what are your ideas for resolving them during your appointment as a city council member?
I mean, the one that sticks out to everybody has got to be infrastructure, right? The traffic, how do you get from one side to the other? Some of that can lead to what is the growth plan? There was some conversation about the kids in the Planters Day Parade and the future of Woodland. The question is, what do you do in Woodland so that they have a future in Woodland and a reason to stay instead of everybody going someplace else? And some of that comes down to infrastructure building opportunity, and opportunity keeping people here. So I think for me it would start there. I don't have any specifics on how I'm going to fix it. I know you guys have been looking at it for a long time. So it would start with whatever you guys have done, whatever it was mentioned, we're getting the 2.6 million back to go look at all of this stuff again and see if there's something that we can do. So to dive in on that and start there. Beyond that, there's Woodland's been here a long time. I'm sure there's aging infrastructure elsewhere, and questions about how do you get enough money, what's the reserve fund, how do you build that stuff up, where's the right place to make your investments, those kind of things.
Okay, thank you.
Next question. How will you handle citizen complaints and negativity towards you personally and council members as a group?
First thing is you try to ferret out why it's there and see if there's potentially some fix associated with it. If you take a look in corporate America, they have organizational health surveys, all that stuff, where people can anonymously complain about things and complain about leadership and so on and so forth. So you try to ferret it out. You see if there's communication fixes, there's training fixes, there's process or things that you need to put in place to try to fix things. We always tried to take all of the complaints as somebody was making them with good intent. They were trying to improve things. I still try to take things that way. I know in today's society it's not always true. If it gets too bad and there's just no fixing it, and sometimes I think the best thing you can do is try to ignore it.
How will you handle citizen complaints regarding city employees and/or rude city employees?
There again, you have to get all sides of the story and see what's going on, and you look for the simple fixes, maybe miscommunication, things like that. In work, I dealt with people from cultures all over the world, so miscommunications abounded all over the place, and people hear things differently, and trying to get on the same page sometimes works. If it truly comes down that there is a problem with the city employee, you can work through their managers, there's training. Potentially you set up a monitor in certain situations to watch what's going on and give feedback as part of the training and coach somebody through the process. All else fails, you have to do some sort of discipline.
Thank you.
There are situations where council members disagree with each other on issues, or you may disagree with citizen comments. How do you handle disagreements and bring them to closure?
Again, consensus at Intel was a big thing. So you try to make your point if you have a disagreement. To me, I always tried to sound out from the other person that was disagreeing what their real disagreement was, and whether they had some data that I wasn't considering as I was trying to make my point. And if there was new data, I could always adjust my point, and maybe we did come to an agreement that way and I switched. Or maybe I could see their problem from a different light and have a different tact to try to bring them to my side. All else fails, at some point along the way, there's a majority in the committee and the minority basically disagrees and commits. It gets passed. It's still our job to make sure that whatever gets passed actually gets fulfilled, and we follow up on it, right? Even if we didn't like it when it got passed.
What experience do you have with public finance, public works, code enforcement, permitting, economic development, or civil service?
None. I have no public service. Mine was all private. Finance and budgeting, things like that were part of my organizational skills. Being a director of engineering, I had to worry about the employee budget, the equipment budget, training budgets, all of those things associated with it. Nothing else is on that list.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next question is, do you intend to file for the council position which you're applying for now in the upcoming November general election?
That would be the intention, yeah. I mean, it could be, I don't know if people would think of it as a trial period, but just a couple of months in the role and a couple of months working with you, I don't think is really much of a trial period anyhow. So it would be a continue on to file and stay for the next period at least, to try to figure out if we were both good fits and doing good jobs.
What is your experience of level of understanding with the Robert's Rules of Order?
I have no experience with it. My level of understanding is it's a framework for a committee, council, something to do business. Rules of engagement, rules of transactions back and forth, and engagement back and forth. It's something I would have to ramp up on. I don't see it as that much of a challenge.
Okay, and last question, is there any additional information that we should know that will assist with our decision to appoint you as a council member?
I don't believe so. It's something I'm interested in doing. I would like the opportunity to give back. I would like the opportunity to serve the community.
Thank you.
Just so we make sure we have everyone is consistent. Now you have 2 minutes to summarize or give us any of the additional information that wasn't asked on here.
I'll just use the opportunity to say, again, I bring a set of life skills I think are applicable. I don't have direct governmental experience. Maybe that's a good thing for a new city councilman, bring in some fresh blood or a different perspective, so to speak. I have the time, I have the inclination. I think I can do the work. And, I look forward to potentially working with you guys soon. Thanks again for considering me.
Thank you.
Excellent. Any questions here? All right. Thank you, sir. Next person will be Keith. Can you send Keith in for us? Hey, Keith.
Good evening. My name is Keith Belisle, a resident of Woodland for nearly 10 years. If you know me, you know I'm here to take care of business, and I'm not messing around. I'm in love with this town, enthusiastic to see good change happen and help it reach its potential. Again, well connected with the city, many agencies and different organizations I'm active with.
Okay. With that, we will go into our questions.
We'll just rotate. You're familiar with that. Tell us about your previous public service to Woodland community. I think, do we have a time limit on this? No, just, how often do you attend Woodland City Council meetings?
This will be quick. So I'm here nearly every meeting and speak at about every meeting. I've run for council 4 times. 17 votes was the difference in the last election. And again, I rarely miss a council meeting and speak at most. And those I miss, I do watch online.
Keith, how have you helped contribute to making Woodland a better community?
So I've helped by attending and speaking at council meetings regarding planners' days and other issues, volunteering with multiple organizations to include the Chamber, Historical Museum Society, VFW, Planners' Days, and Downtown Woodland Revitalization. I help connect people and organizations, and I also help by identifying challenges as opportunities on a community level.
We've heard you speak here many times from that pulpit. Keith, what is the role of Woodland City Council? What is the role of the mayor in particular? And what is the role of city council members in particular, in your opinion?
Okay, well, Woodland City Council first. The Woodland City Council acts as the legislative branch of the city government. 7 members make up the board, and they're elected by the public to represent the citizens' interests. The primary responsibilities include setting policies and laws. The council would create ordinances like laws and resolutions that express policy positions and to guide how the city operates. They also approve budgets and contracts. They decide how the city's money will be spent and authorize agreements with other entities. Also overseeing city departments, the council provides direction and holds city departments accountable for their performance. The mayor of Woodland functions under a mayor-council form of government. The mayor serves as the city's chief executive officer and presides over city council meetings, and their key roles include day-to-day administration. Mayor would oversee the city's operations and implements council-approved policies. Public representation. The mayor acts as the official face of the city and represents Woodland in various settings. Also, legislative proposals. The mayor could propose ordinances and resolutions for the council's consideration. City council members, each city council member plays a vital role in representing their constituents. Their responsibilities involve advocating for residents. Council members bring the concerns and needs of their communities to the table. Committee work. They participate in committees that delve deeper into specific city issues and make recommendations to the full council. Voting on legislation. Council members vote on ordinances, resolutions, and other proposals that shape the city's direction. I've provided these responses to illustrate my understanding as well as help the reader or listener, in this case, break down the functions, because sometimes we need to be reminded. All right.
Excellent.
Are you willing to fully participate and commit to the requirements of a city council member? This includes attending 2 city council meetings a month, in addition to committee meetings, reading 100+ agenda pages prior to each meeting, and coming prepared to discuss the materials. How will you handle these demands?
So the answer to the first part, yes, I'm fully willing to participate and more. I just can't do enough as far as I'm concerned. I'm self-employed, so I make my own schedule, make adjustments as I need to, and I am a very efficient multitasker.
Do you attest to meeting all of the requirements of a city council member, which include 18 years of age, resident voter of the city of Woodland resident for at least 12 months, and live inside the city during the proposed term?
Yes.
Keith, what are the specific issues of Woodland that are particularly interest to you? For each of these items, what are your ideas for resolving them during your appointment as the city council member?
So one of the things everybody notices is how congested we get here at times, and my concern with that is the safety. You know, it's not fun, but it's also not safe. We need to look at successful examples of how other municipalities have approached finding solutions to those challenges. I believe the solution will involve more than a freeway exit restructuring. I think we're going to find we have to look really hard at what else is going to affect easing our congestion and any safety concerns associated with that. We have a curb appeal issue that we need to improve. That will will include exit 21 and 22 and the surrounding areas that are visible from the freeway that affect the initial impression of the town. So when you go through on the freeway, you notice when a town has something really going on. Mountain Timber Market, you know, new buildings close to the freeway. So when you drive through Woodland, it's my hope that people will say, oh, look at that. Let's get over there and take a look. Or that's new. Wow, look at what they've done here, you know. That's going to be important. One of the other issues that I'm interested in is working towards harnessing the greater potential of the city and its residents. I believe engagement in a consistent, established neighborhood groups would move us forward at an exponential rate. So there's a lot of people here in town. If we can organize them just a little bit, we can get more done. And I think that they will benefit from improved group communication. I mean, I have a big vision of that I've always had of neighborhood associations and sending a representative to city council to say, here's what's going on in our neighborhood and here's what we need, something like that. I think we can do better with that for sure. And then I also hope to help differentiate complaints and displeasure from tangible work that we need to do here to keep the city moving forward. There's a lot of people that all say, I hate this, you know, but it's not really something that we have to get out there and fix to make this city better, you know. Whatever moving forward might look like, public relations are the tool we use to help improve perceptions as well as adopting an attitude of continuous quality improvement.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How will you handle citizen complaints? I'm sorry, wrong page.
That was the right question.
Oh,
No,
Number 7.
it's the right
Yeah,
page.
you're on
Don't
the
give
right
me that.
Yeah. Continue
I got
on.
mark 3.
Keith.
How will you handle citizen complaints and negativity towards you personally and the council in general?
Well, listening is always the best first thing. I mean, people will get a good opinion of you if you really, really listen to them actively, not interrupting, and listen, and then maybe restate to them what their issue is. Some people are going to have, they're going to be frustrated, and it might not really have to do with me, but that's where it gets focused, you know. So I have to realize that that's going to happen sometimes. But ideally, listening actively, earnestly desiring to help, and establishing any following any established processes that we have for dealing with complaints.
How will you handle citizen complaints regarding city employees or rude city employees?
And again, that's the same kind of thing, listening actively, earnestly desiring to help, following any established process, and then, if needed, referrals to the appropriate departments to make sure follow-up happens and make sure we're doing the best job we can.
There are situations where council members disagree with each other on issues, or you may disagree with citizen comments. How do you handle disagreements and bring them to closure?
So my answer to that would be I can agree to disagree cordially, and also follow up by asking if there are any issues to be resolved without trying to perpetuate a situation. My vote is to help the city.
Okay, What experience do you have with public finance, public works, code enforcement, permitting, economic development, or civil service?
Since living in Woodland, I've gained a stronger understanding of public finance principles, including budgeting, taxation, and revenue generation, much through coming to City Council, but also through being involved with the boards that I am a member of. I've become much more familiar with public works projects and the processes involved in their planning, execution, and maintenance. I'm also knowledgeable of code enforcement procedures and the importance of ensuring consistent compliance with regulations. I'm familiar with the permitting process and the role it plays in construction and development projects. I'm also fascinated in learning much more about economic development strategies, such as the port's fiber project and shipping terminals, and their impact on communities like ours. I have a grasp of civil service principles and the importance of providing efficient public services.
Keith, do you intend to file for a council position?
Yes.
For the upcoming November election?
Yes.
What is your experience of level of understanding with the Robert's Rules of Order?
My understanding of Robert's Rules of Order is functional and relatively general in principles. I've been using them since the 90s with different boards that I've been parts of. And I understand the need for structure and guidelines with that. It's very important. I've also owned a version of the book since my first board position over 20 years ago.
Final question: is there any additional information that would, that we should know that will assist with our decision to appoint you as a council member?
I think you know about me. Thank you.
You get 2 minutes on that. Anything you want to throw out, Keith?
I just think that, I would be a great value to the board. I'm experienced, enthusiastic, connected, convicted to helping to make a difference here one way or another, motivated. Nobody questions my motives or my seriousness with this at all. Nobody here in this room. And I'm really grateful for the opportunity to help and serve. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you for applying, sir.
You left out a big part, though, Mr. B. He also helps out with National Night Out the 2 times that we've had it, so he's a big part of that.
There should be 2 out there.
I don't.
Only one.
Are you Max Bonder? Nope. Nope? Okay. No Max? You must be Jason Friend.
I am.
All right. So hold on here. All right, sir. 2 minutes. Introduce yourself, everything you wanted to know up front before we go through and answer or ask questions.
Perfect. Is this okay? Can you hear me? All right.
Yeah.
So my name
Speaking
is
to the mic just so people online can hear, but away we go, sir.
Perfect. So my name is Jason Friend. I've been a member of the Woodland community for 2.5, almost 3 years this November. I moved here from Vancouver with my wife and 2 daughters. We live on Gun Club Road. And I guess a little bit of background about me. I work for a nonprofit hospital. I've worked in healthcare for the last 20 years. The last 5.5 have been at a nonprofit health system that services 3 states. One of my primary functions there is to oversee financial assistance for patients that can't afford hospital bills. So I spend a great deal of time looking at different policies and laws that relate to charity care in hospitals and understanding the financial impacts of them and how we implement those in different aspects of healthcare, which I think is really relatable to public policy and how all of that ties back to finances. I also do a lot of budgeting work for my team. I oversee about 70 people within my department. Let's see, I guess something else that's important to know, I was a Rotarian, and at my last home, I haven't been able to connect with Rotary here. I've been trying to get established, get my kids in school. They were homeschooled before, but when we moved here, we felt comfortable to put them in public school, and didn't feel that way in Vancouver, so that was a big thing for us to say, hey, we liked the schools, we met the superintendent, and felt like it was a good fit for our family to utilize public school system here. But I was a Rotarian of the Year for Kamaswashukel Rotary in 2018. I was the chair of the Community Service Board for the Kamaswashukel Rotary of that year. And that's kind of my quick bio.
Okay, thank you. And with that, we'll begin the questions. Tell us about your previous public service to Woodland community, and how often do you attend Woodland City Council meetings?
So previous public service, actually since I've moved here, I kind of mentioned, was looking to get kind of tied back with Rotary. I did join the Moose Lodge because I felt like that was a good step and was able to maybe find some volunteer opportunities there. Really, like I said, I'm kind of tied to that Rotary thing. I felt really good about the services that we were doing, providing meals and backpacks, and just being of service to the community for no reason other than trying to give back. But in Woodland, you know, because I haven't taken that step in community service, the things I do try to do to support the community are always shopping local if I can. If there's a business in town that I can buy a service from, I try to do that rather than taking the money outside of our community.
Jason, how have you helped contribute to making Woodland a better community?
So within the opportunities I've had, the things I've done are try to take advantage of opportunities at my daughter's schools. So I have one at the Woodland Middle School, one at North Fork, and whenever there's an opportunity for parent volunteering, I try to do that. I did career day for them the first year I was in the community, and kind of explained my job at the hospital and a different career path. So that was something different to be able to do. And really just trying to be a good example for anyone in the neighborhood, try to meet neighbors, socialize with people, and really kind of embed myself into the area that I live in.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Jason, what is the role of the Woodland City Council? And what is the role of the mayor in particular? And what is the role of the city council members in particular, in your opinion?
Right, so I see the role of the city council as a group that's reviewing policy, reviewing potentially budgets, different aspects, maybe city policy that relates to rules and regs that might be coming up, to discuss them as a group together, collaborate, and understand what maybe the local legislation is implying that should be done, what your kind of purview is of what the proposed policy might be, how it all relates together, and then collaborating as a body to make decisions on that work. I see the mayor as the executive kind of body of that work. So if I think about it in terms of like a health system, because that's something that's familiar for me to tie back, we have VPs that oversee different aspects in different areas, and we have a CEO. The VPs do make a lot of the decisions. The CEO helps with a lot of the guidance or gives feedback and input in different areas where applicable. And then I think the other piece was, what is the council member responsible for? Yeah, and I think as a council member, your responsibility is to contribute to that, right? Collaborate, be present, hear out all sides of what needs to happen, understand what it is that you're discussing, so coming prepared to discuss whatever it is that is up on the agenda for that evening.
Are you willing to fully participate and commit to the requirements of a city council member? This includes attending 2 city council meetings a month, in addition to committee meetings, reading 100+ agenda pages prior to each meeting, and coming prepared to discuss the materials. How will you handle these demands?
Yes, I guess for the first part of that, I am willing to commit to that. To answer the other piece of how do you handle those demands? So I have a pretty busy job. I work 50-ish hours a week, sometimes more depending on the demands of that day or that week. But I kind of live on the belief that we all have 24 hours in a day. So everybody has the same amount of time. You get to prioritize how you use those 24 hours. And so I think if this is something I commit to, this is a priority, And that has to be on the forefront of my mind when I'm planning a day, making decisions on what I'm going to do, because I have to budget those hours in to be prepared and be present.
Thank you.
Can I back up? There was a piece of a question that I just kind of clicked that I didn't answer earlier, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one of the pieces of the question earlier with attending city council meetings, how regularly do you attend them? So my work schedule used to be in a way that I was on call and couldn't be at the council meetings, and we've changed some things in that. So it freed up my time in the evenings to be able to attend. I have watched them online from the website, read the agendas just to kind of stay up to date on what's happening, form my own opinion on, by watching it rather than hearing feedback throughout the community. I'm kind of a believer in hearing it firsthand versus hearsay. So,
Thank you. I think it's fair. Do you attest to meeting all of the requirements of a city council member, which include 18 years of age, registered voter in the city of Woodland residents for at least 12 months, and will live inside the Woodland city limits during the term?
I do.
Okay. What are the specific issues of Woodland that are of particular interest to you? For each of these items, what are your ideas for resolving them during your appointment as a city council member?
It's an interesting question for me because I don't come to the table with an agenda or with anything that I'm looking to accomplish kind of particularly myself. I view this as an opportunity to hear the voices of the people of Woodland and from there decide what the key issues are and contribute. I think whatever issues are present, it's hearing the community. People want to be heard, giving them an opportunity to speak opinions, truly listen to them, and take that into consideration when really evaluating what a priority for me would be. So I think my priority would just be to serve the people of Woodland in this position.
Thank you.
How would you handle citizen complaints and negativity towards you personally and the council as a group?
So I guess relating this to my current role, I oversee part of my operation as a call center. So we take customer service calls for medical billing. So as you can imagine, that's not always the funnest call to take when people get a large healthcare bill. But at the end of the day, what I've found is that people want to be heard. So if they're coming to you with negativity or complaining about you or somebody else on the council, I always want to trust that there's some reason, there's some driver that is pushing them to have that negative attitude and mindset. And so I think the approach that I would have is to try to hear them out, and rather than be combative about it or trying to, dissolve it right there, truly trying to get to the bottom of what's driving that concern for them, and then trying to come to the table with solutions. So if they really have a main driver that's upsetting them about something happening, trying to help them find that answer, even if I don't have it myself. I get asked questions all day long. A lot I don't have the answer to offhand, right? You can't know everything. It's about who you know to be able to facilitate answering those questions. And I think that's a key piece, is having avenues to bring resolution for people.
How will you handle citizen complaints regarding city employees and or rude city employees?
So I kind of liken that to the previous question, but in my current role, we get complaints about areas that are completely out of our purview, right? It's nothing to do with what we have going. So the way that we tend to think about that is we have the information coming to us, right? So now we own it, we're responsible to do something with it. So I think going back to, let's hear the issue. Let's let that person speak and tell us what's bothering them or what was the situation that happened, and either getting them to the right person, so kind of a warm handoff to someone else that can help them if I can't personally, but really, again, going back to what's the avenue that we need to follow with that person to bring resolution to whatever concern they might have brought forward.
Okay. There are situations where council members disagree with each other, or issues, or you may have on issues, or you may disagree with a citizen's comments. How do you handle disagreements and bring them to closure?
I think it's all about conversation. So if you come to the table, kind of tend to think about it in a problem-solving format of, if you came to the table and everybody always agreed on everything, you probably would get a mediocre product. When people come to the table and they disagree on items, and they each have a different opinion or point of view, and you can work together to find a common ground of everybody's varying opinions and seek to understand why somebody believes the way that they do, you can oftentimes come to a greater outcome than if everybody just agreed. I think great outcomes are centered on debate. If you have debate, you learn new ideas. If everybody's closed down and they don't want to hear anybody else's idea and they're just staunched on this is what the answer is, and that's what the answer is, then you don't get growth. But sometimes growing is all about stretching, right? So stretching your mind and opinions and learning different viewpoints to come to a better resolution. And that's kind of how I would see conflict can be healthy.
It's all you.
Oh, it's me? I'm sorry.
Mark me on, I helped you for once.
Thank you. What experience do you have with public finance, public works, code enforcement, permitting, economic development, or civil service?
So a little bit of background on me. Before I had any political involvement at all, I was working in a past job, and I had a friend say to me, hey, would you be interested in being a PCO? I had no idea what a precinct committee officer was at that point, but I said, what the heck, put my name on the list, wound up joining in Clark County as a precinct committee officer, served for a term. So I kind of view that as some civil service exposure, showing up to meetings, really kind of understanding the function of a politically kind of centered meeting. And so kind of from that realm, that's, I would say, civil service. But as far as public financing, public budgeting, a lot of what my job is today is filing paperwork for nonprofits, right? So we have to abide by charity care laws. We have community benefit floors and things that we have to put into financial reporting that's all made public. And a big piece of what I do is gather those numbers, do the analysis on them, we test them to make sure they're accurate, they get audited, and we file those with either the IRS or different governing bodies, sometimes Centers for Medicare and Medicaid. Just kind of depends on the type of paperwork we're filing, but I relate that quite a bit to public budgeting and public finance, because a lot of it is public-facing information that we have to file, and it takes a lot to analyze it and understand kind of the behind the scenes of it. In addition to that work, I budget for, like I mentioned earlier, a department of about 70. We have targets and guidelines we have to meet. If we're halfway through the year and we're over budget, we have to make cuts. If we're under budget, we have a little more flexibility, but it's really just kind of following that throughout the trend of the year and making sure that we're on track to end the fiscal year with the appropriate outcomes.
Thank you.
Do you intend to file for a council position in the upcoming November general election?
Yeah, I absolutely would. If I was appointed to this role, I see no reason why I wouldn't want to continue and continue on with the council and file.
What is your experience of level of understanding with Robert's Rules of Order?
So both as a Rotarian, as a committee chair, as well as when I was a precinct committee officer, both meeting structures were on Robert's Rules of Order. It's been a few years since I've used them, but I understand the basic principles and could brush up on them to make sure I wasn't a nuisance at the table.
Okay, and last question, is there any additional information that we should know to help us assist with our decision to appoint you as council member?
Yeah, the only other piece I didn't mention kind of on my background, educationally, I have an MBA from Concordia that was in Portland, unfortunately. Had to file bankruptcy. Have a bachelor's in business administration as well. Kind of mentioned my healthcare experience and kind of the volunteer stuff that I've done. So I think all relevant to the work here. So not only do I have experience in kind of these types of settings, but also have an educational background to support that.
Thank you.
And with that, you get 2 minutes to tell us anything that wasn't asked here. The floor is yours, or...
Gosh, I could just stand here in awkward silence for 2 minutes, right? No, I just, I want to just say that I appreciate being a resident of Woodland, coming from Vancouver to Woodland. It's been night and day. When I hear complaints about the city, I kind of chuckle and think you should move to Vancouver, and maybe you might not feel that way so strongly. I do see a lot of opportunities in the city for growth, and I think it's just important to know I don't come to this from any, with any agenda. I'm not looking to achieve anything except help better the city, contribute in whatever way I can there. No political ties, no company ties, nothing that I'm trying to help push for anyone other than my 2 daughters that are going to school in Woodland that I want to see be successful in life. So just trying to be a role model for them and kind of put myself out there to show them that it's okay to try new things, and this is me doing that to model for them.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. With that, the time now is 8:50.
Could we take 2 minutes?
I got to sit down for a second. The time now is 8:56, and we will walk into executive session for 30 minutes, so we will return back at 9:26 p.m. Assuming we have something, but I will come back in 30 minutes, if not. So we will see you back in 30 minutes.
Recording in progress.
The time is now 9:28. Apologies for the 2-minute delay. I said 9:26. The time is now 9:28, and we come back into our city council meeting. So I have been corrected based on an email that came from Emily Gildner, who is our city attorney, that we don't make votes and we don't vote in executive session. Votes are made out here. We had a conversation in there and we had dialogue and said pros and cons, and we talked about what we like, don't like, and things like that. But it's not a place behind closed doors where you take vote and you make decisions of the city, because again, transparency and having those conversations. So right now, I do not know who is voting for what. We're coming out of here, going into out of executive session. And also I've been corrected, because it's not a financial decision, the mayor can break a tie. So if there's a 2-2 tie, I can vote one way or the other. But if it's a 3-1 or
Can I make a nomination?
4-0, then it is not a decision of the mayor here. So any questions, comments on any of that? I'm going to ask if there's anything from Frank, or if there's anything from Emily, who is also our attorney. Those two individuals, if there's anything that they want to say before we go into this. So Frank says not. Emily, do you have anything that you would like to chime in on?
Nothing further.
Okay, and you agree with what I just said?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, thank you. So, with that, coming out, I asked if there are any nominations or any conversation by
Motion to appoint David McCauley.
I think I said it first.
So, hold on one second. I have a motion on the floor from Gabe. Gabe has a motion to nominate, or to appoint, I am sorry, Keith Ballau. Correct me if I'm wrong, do I have to have a second or do I vote? Emily, can you confirm this for me?
Yeah, you need a second for the motion to be voted on.
Okay, and Frank agrees, okay? So do I have a second? I do not have a second, so that motion does not carry forward and is declined. Do I have any other motions? I believe I heard one down here from Douglas. Douglas?
Yes, I'd like to nominate David McCauley.
Can you speak into your thing real loud?
I'd like to nominate David McCauley for position number 7 on the Woodland Town Council.
So I have a motion to nominate David McCauley. Do I have a second? With that, that motion does not carry.
I make a motion to nominate Jason Friend.
Second.
So I have a first and a second to nominate and appoint Jason Friend. With that, any conversation before we take a vote? I have no conversation with that, Amanda, and we have to have a 3 vote. So with that, Ms. Hogan, do you want to take a vote?
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Houston.
Nay.
Councilmember Frymark.
Aye.
Councilmember Hall.
Aye.
With that, we have a 3-1. So it is my honor to say that Jason Friend has been appointed to our next position 7 city council member. Okay. So that was action item G, nominations and vote. Moving into action item H, ordinance number 1561, retooling our code 2024 batch of code amendments, first reading. Any comments, questions from the audience? Donna.
Yes, this is Donna Butler. I always have to put a plug in for local control. So we have the words international code, wanting to comply with international code. It's on, let me see, 17, Title 17 of zoning regarding yards and regarding construction standards. So I would really like to just see what is in parentheses, deleted. It says as defined in the International Building Code. It has a good definition of yards given there already. I don't know why that needs to be added. And I've been to Taiwan, I've been in India, I've been in Israel, I've been in England. I've seen a lot of ways different countries internationally build. I actually watched a construction of an apartment and was horrified in India. And so these women anyway, I think we have very good standards, and I don't know why we would want to put ourselves under an international, I don't know who this international committee is that makes the definitions and codes, but I think US is good at it, and I just like that scratch just because who's going to change it in the future or what, I don't know. But I just like to keep things a little more local. And we've got the best building anyway, from what I've observed.
Okay. Travis, any comments or anything from you on?
Which section is that in? See, do you know in the packet which page it is?
17.08.865 under Title 17. It's the first paragraph.
Okay.
This is a small, simple thing that I just don't. Airline company.
So the answer to that question is the reason why that is in there is because we no longer have a uniform building code. If we don't change it to the International Building Code, there would be no definition because what it currently references no longer exists. Because the Uniform Building Code is what it used to be called, and now it is adopted as an international building code because it's used in more than one country. But it is still written by the same organization, which is based in the US. I can do more research and get you another answer for that if you'd like me to.
That would be helpful. That would be helpful. I mean, yep.
So shall we make a motion to hold this over till the next meeting?
I can't tell you what to do or not to do.
No, I'll make a motion to hold this over until the next meeting, and maybe Mr. Goddard can get us a little more information on that.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion to table this to a future meeting, and I have a second. Is there any conversation or anything from anyone that disagrees or wants to have?
I think it's worth looking into. It's good point. So.
With that, Amanda, do you want to take a vote?
Councilmember Houston?
Aye.
Councilmember Firemark?
Aye.
Councilmember Hall?
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds?
Aye.
And with that, that will be moved to a future council meeting. I'm going a little bit backwards out of order before we adjourn here.
Good.
There were citizen comments from Jana Lovejoy that came in, email. Those will be attached to meeting minutes for items not on the agenda. I want to make sure that people realize those are comments out there. Ms. Rounds.
I just wanted to make a comment. I know we're done with selecting the person that's going to fill in, but I'd like to thank each and every one for coming out tonight and putting their application in. And I encourage you to please go ahead and put your name in the ballot come November and try again. You know, we had some good candidates out there, and I appreciate each one of you. So thank you again for applying.
Agreed.
100%. I echo those sentiments. Thank you, Carol. Thank you all for putting yourself forward. I know it's a family decision, and I do appreciate everyone doing that. With that,
I make a motion to end the meeting.
the time is now 9:38, and we are now adjourned.